Good evening, distinguished guests, industry leaders, policymakers, and change makers. Welcome to Green Yodha 2.0 Smart Citizen Program, Smarter Demand, Stronger Nation, a flagship sustainability initiative by Schneider Electric in partnership with NDTV. Now, at a time when the world is confronting an unprecedented climate challenge, the conversation is no longer just about how much energy we produce, it is actually about how intelligently we consume it. Green Yodha 2.0 is built on a powerful and timely idea that the future of sustainability does not lie only in large power plants or ambitious policy frameworks. It lies equally in homes, in offices, factories, schools, and in the everyday decisions that we make as citizens. This initiative marks a decisive shift from supply-side thinking to demand-side leadership, from awareness to action, from individual effort to, indeed, collective impact. Through Green Yodha, Schneider Electric and NDTV aim to spark a nationwide movement, one that empowers consumers to become conscious energy citizens, that encourages industries to adopt smarter systems, and that inspires institutions to build a culture of efficiency. Because when demand becomes smarter, guess what? Nations become stronger. So tonight's not just about dialogue, it is about driving a mindset shift. It is about recognizing that every switch, every appliance, every building, and every enterprise can become a force for change. India stands at a defining moment in its growth journey, balancing rapid development with climate responsibility, and initiatives like this one, Green Yodha 2.0, ensure that sustainability is not a constraint on progress, but its catalyst. Let us come together today as Green Yodhas, champions of intelligent consumption, responsible growth, and a sustainable future. Thank you all for being part of this movement. A round of applause. Now, as we speak of illuminating the path towards a more sustainable future, it is only fitting that we begin with a timeless Indian tradition. The ceremonial lighting of the lamp symbolizes the triumph of knowledge over ignorance, hope over uncertainty, and collective purpose over individual intent. So for the lighting of the lamp, I now invite on stage Srimati Rekha Gupta, Chief Minister of Delhi, Shri Suresh Manglani, CEO Adani Total Gas, Nishant Arya, Vice President JBM Group, Anuj Khandelwal, Business Head Grey Cement Business JK Cement, Deepak Sharma, Zone President Greater India and MD and CEO of Schneider Electric India, and Rahul Kanwal, CEO and Editor-in-Chief of the NDTV Network.
वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा
Thank you for that, ladies and gentlemen. If you could take your seats, and I will now request Mr. Deepak Sharma, Zone President, Greater India, and MD and CEO of Schneider Electric India, to remain on stage and come to the podium, please, for your inaugural address.
Good evening, everyone. We are delighted to have Honorable Chief Minister of Delhi, Rekha Gupta ji. Ma'am, thank you so much for coming and blessing this moment. We're going to talk another 10 minutes and why are we here, what are we going to talk about, and what this One Mission program is all about. So we want to first start with acknowledging that this era, this moment is of India. You know, whenever you go around the world and you see what's happening across the world and what's happening in our country, it's very promising. Now, all the development we're going to talk about, what we also know is this development would need a lot of energy. And that's why what we say is, while it's a moment of India, it's also the energy moment of India. Why I'm saying this? Because whatever we need to build in the next visible 5 to 7 years of cycle, we would need almost energy, which is what Germany uses in its whole country. That's level of energy we're going to talk about. We would double, triple our manufacturing bases in the next 5 years. We're going to talk about using this, but we have also responsibly committed that we want to develop sustainability. We want to do it smartly. We have already committed our 2070 sustainable goals for the country. How do we achieve our net zero goals? So while this we have done, why in Delhi? Because Delhi happens to be one of the cities where the capital is. We have also powered a lot of projects through the technology in the country. Our largest metro network in the world, in the country, is powered by Schneider, and of course is one of the biggest network here in the country. We have an airport which is the largest setup, 5th busiest in Asia Pacific, and we also, Delhi as an NCR houses one of the largest corporates and GCCs in the country. Now, why is it important to talk about it? Because what we have to build in the country will be a challenge both for supply and the demand. And what we know is while we will double all this, the 2x of the energy we've been talking about, we're talking about per capita consumption, which is going up. We're still way behind from the energy consumption from the global perspective, but we are improving a lot. These data center की बात कर रहे हैं इंडिया में कि how data center will come in the country. We're talking about building 4 times the data centers we have built in the last 10 years in the next 3 to 5 years. All this will need energy. But एक छोटी सी problem है, and that's what we're going to talk about little later. ये सारी बातें अच्छी हैं until we don't use them smartly. Because अगर हम ये carbon emission का diagram देखें, we're talking about this 60 gigatons of carbon emissions, greenhouse emissions happening in the society around the world. And अगर हम इस growth को balance नहीं करें with the energy efficiency, we're gonna actually build the future, but by compromising a lot with our future generations will probably not will actually blame us for what we have done to them or to the society we're gonna leave behind us. So the whole story is, जो भी हम एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी की बात करें, सस्टेनेबिलिटी की बात करें, ग्रोथ की बात करें, वो उस फंडामेंटल पे बने कि वो फ्यूचर को कॉम्प्रोमाइज ना करे. और इसकी जब हम डिटेलिंग करते हैं तो हमने कहा 60 गीगावाट टन इज अ ग्लोबल एमिशंस. उसके अंदर दिस इज नेचुरल वी ब्रीथ, सो दिस यू हैव टू डू इट. बट जो हम, आप और मैं contribute करते हैं in building, in the way we use our planet, our resources, 60% of that is because of us. And that 60% gets divided between the way we build energy and the way we use energy. So the whole story today is, how do we grow the country, how do we grow ourselves, how do we keep growing the entire ecosystem, but not compromising the tomorrow. And that's what we're going to talk as we progress into the next few slides. We can do it is the other point I want to build. Today, technologies are available. If you got time to see some of the technologies which are on display at the back, and these technologies can make homes not only consumer, but producers. So a smart home today is not only an energy consumer, but actually energy producer. We call it prosumer. The homes are prosumer today. We're talking about data centers because the moment you use a chat GPT, I'm sure you must be using chat GPT or Gemini. If you do a normal Google search and you do a chat GPT search, the amount of energy you have used in less than 1 minute is 10 times more than you would have used on cloud. So a GPU-driven data center uses 10 times more energy. So imagine if your data center was running on 100 megawatts as a feed, or 10 megawatt, or 1 megawatt, you've actually made that multiplied by 10. Because the amount of data it processes needs a lot of energy. So the data centers will become more smarter. How do we build them tomorrow? Our industries, which is also a very strong consumption of our energy, how do we decarbonize them? How our infrastructure, the airports, the hotels, the railways, how do we decarbonize? And the entire story builds on 3 principles. And this is applicable to any company, any society, any human. हर आदमी ये कर सकता है, which is about पहले आप उसको इलेक्ट्रीफाई करें, ऑटोमेट करें, और उसको डिजिटाइज करें। अगर हम ये 3 चीज़ें कर लें किसी भी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में, वी कैन एक्चुअली हैव अ बेटर कंट्रोल ऑफ आवर सोसाइटी। Why we talk about Schneider? This is something which is embedded in us for ages. हम काफ़ी सालों से इस पे काम कर रहे हैं. We have been recognized as the most sustainable company in the world multiple times by Corporate Knights, recently by Time Statistica for consecutive 2 years at the World Economic Forum. And we digitize industry, businesses, and homes while doing this technology. What we dream is to have a city, have a world like this, where intelligence is actually driven by energy. Now, this is another point. We talk about artificial intelligence, which needs energy intelligence. Energy intelligence feeds AI intelligence, and AI will feed back the energy intelligence. So it's like that circle which actually goes around. So if we can build society, ecosystem, cities, infrastructure, which have these elements of multiple technologies, be it creating the energy smartly, be it distributing the energy through microgrids, and then powering the industries and homes smartly, is what we can achieve through these technologies. While these technologies are adapting, we believe that this is the moment where India intelligent energy management, intelligent energy usage will reduce the challenge we have. And why we need this, why India को क्यों करना चाहिए is also important. हमने समझा प्रॉब्लम है, हमें पता है हम ग्रो करेंगे तो प्रॉब्लम और आएगी, टेक्नोलॉजी अवेलेबल है, हम डिप्लॉय कर लेते हैं, बट ज़रूरत क्यों है? अगेन आई कम बैक, क्योंकि हमने इतना कुछ अभी इंडिया में बनाना है, और अगर हम इसको ठीक से नहीं बनाएंगे, सो वी मे लैंड अप इन दोज चैलेंजेस व्हिच आई वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट अर्लियर. इसका सॉल्यूशन क्या है? वी कैन डू इंडस्ट्रीज. ये हमारी खुद की फैक्ट्री है हैदराबाद में, विच हैज़ बीन रिकॉग्नाइज्ड एज वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम मोस्ट सस्टेनेबल फैक्ट्री. तो फैक्ट्रीज को डिजिटाइज करके आपकी प्रोडक्शन डबल हो जाती है, एनर्जी बिल 60% कम है. ये सारा डेटा ऑडिटेबल है. यू कैन गो एंड सी फ्रॉम द रिपोर्ट्स ऑफ वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमिक फोरम, एंड दीज आर प्रेजेंटेबल. सिमिलरली वी कैन डिजिटाइज आवर होम्स. घर में सिर्फ होम ऑटोमेशन की बात नहीं कर रहे, हम एनर्जी मैनेजमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं. आपके पास अगर डैशबोर्ड पे ये आ जाए, आपके कौन सा घर पे आपकी मदर, आपके सिस्टर, आपका बच्चे कौन सा गीज़र ऑन छोड़ देता है, कौन आपका एसी बंद नहीं करता है, कौन से कमरे में कितनी बिजली ज़्यादा चल रही है, दैट्स वेयर द मेजरमेंट एंड saving comes as a part of our WISER program. That's again a tool which is available. And we are really proud to launch this one mission unit. And I want to emphasize why this one unit is important. Because देखने में, सुनने में बहुत छोटा लगता है. क्या यार इतना बड़ा प्रोग्राम करके तुम एक यूनिट बिजली बचाने की बात कर रहे हो? मतलब सीरियसली, लेट मी टेल यू व्हाई इज इट सीरियस. लेट्स डू अ स्मॉल गेम. इंडिया के अंदर 350 मिलियन होम्स हैं. अगेन दीज आर मैथ. Let's say these are only 90% accurate data because we have used the reliable resources, but no, it's not about the real data. Let's say they are only 90% accurate. What if I say 1 power in each home? Any idea what will it mean? I'll help you. We're talking about 128 billion of units. Little bit technical, थोड़ा और simplify करते हैं. इसका मतलब energy emission के हिसाब से it's 91 million tons of CO2 savings or carbon emission saving. Still little complicated, थोड़ा सा और आसान करते हैं. This is equivalent to, एक साल की बात कर रहे हैं हम, 6 billion trees planted in India. This is equivalent to 51 million cars off the road. This means 6.4 billion rupees of cash saved. That is the power of one unit. मैं कहता हूँ हम एक को अगर 2 कर लेते हैं, these numbers are divided by 2. So that's what we are trying to achieve today. टेक्नोलॉजी इंडिया बनता रहेगा, हम बनाते रहेंगे, हम एनर्जी डालते रहेंगे, हम एक्सपैंड करते रहेंगे. सिर्फ एक छोटी सी जो कोशिश हम करना चाहते हैं आज, क्या हम उसको रिस्पॉन्सिबली करें ताकि आने वाली जनरेशन्स को जो हम ग्रोथ और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर छोड़ के जाएं, हम साथ साथ में सेविंग्स भी छोड़ के जाएं. एंड दैट्स व्हाट वी वांट टू टॉक अबाउट. वी वांट यू टू कम एंड जॉइन द मिशन एंड बिकम द पार्ट ऑफ दैट वन यूनिट मिशन बाय टेकिंग अ प्लेज. That this pledge of taking one unit becomes India moving from a consumption to a very intelligent energy country for making our world of tomorrow or growth of tomorrow. So that was my message and introduction, Honorable Chief Minister Ji and our lovely audience. Thank you so much for giving me that opportunity.
Thank Thank you so much. Do stay with us on the stage, Mr. Sharma, because I will now be inviting our chief guest, Srimati Rekha Gupta, the Honorable Chief Minister of Delhi, to join us for the launch of Green Yodha 2.0. And joining her on stage is Rahul Kanwal, CEO and Editor-in-Chief of the NDTV network. All of you will be handed iPads so you can take the Green Yodha pledge. Could we have the iPads on the stage, please? Yes, I request all of you to click on the pledge button on the page that is open on your iPads, and that will indicate that you've taken the pledge. And the launch of Green Yodha 2.0. Ladies and gentlemen, there are QR codes on the tent cards in front of you on your tables. You can also take the pledge and be a Green Yodha yourself. Thank you so much for the launch. And I would now like to invite to the podium Srimati Rekha Gupta for her keynote address and to hear about her vision for Delhi and the initiatives of the government to make it a livable city.
Thank you so much. सबसे पहले तो मैं बहुत बधाई देना चाहती हूँ आज एनडीटीवी को और श्नाइडर इलेक्ट्रिक को, जो कि एक बहुत ही नोबल कॉज, ग्रीन भविष्य के लिए, भारत की डेवलपमेंट के लिए और एनर्जी सेविंग के लिए जो प्रोजेक्ट हमने यहाँ डिस्कस किया, वो सच में भारत की ग्रोथ के लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है। मैं आप सबको ये कह सकती हूँ कि हमारे पेरेंट्स ने हमेशा इस बात को हमें सिखाया है, सेव वाटर, सेव इलेक्ट्रिसिटी। हो सकता है उस समय उनके माइंडसेट में सेविंग फाइनेंशियल टर्म्स में रहती हो, पर आज उसे एक बड़े प्रोस्पेक्ट में जब हम सोचते हैं तो हमें ये ध्यान आता है कि ये जो प्लैनेट है, इस पे आज नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज की जितनी कमी है, और आज यदि इसे हम नहीं सेव करते हैं तो आने वाली जनरेशन्स को न जाने किस तरीके से जीना पड़ेगा। और बहुत ही शानदार आपने जो रोड मैप दिया है, इलेक्ट्रीफाई, ऑटोमेट एंड डिजिटलाइज, इस रोड मैप के माध्यम से ही मुझे लगता है कि भारत विकसित भारत की ओर आगे बढ़ पाएगा। हर एक यूनिट की एक बहुत बड़ी कीमत हम सबको चुकानी पड़ती है, नॉट इन टर्म्स ऑफ मनी पर इन टर्म्स ऑफ सस्टेनेबिलिटी। आज यदि दुनिया को बचाना है तो हर उस यूनिट को हमें बचाना पड़ेगा। और जहाँ तक दिल्ली की बात है, हम लोग लगातार इसी दिशा में काम कर रहे हैं। जब विकास की बात होती है, डेवलपमेंट की बात होती है, तो डेफिनेटली ये दिखाई देता है कि आने वाले समय में इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कंजप्शन कितना बढ़ने वाला है। हर चीज़ में आपको ग्रोथ के पैरेलली इलेक्ट्रिसिटी की कंजप्शन दिखाई देती है। जब मैं बात करती हूँ कि दिल्ली में हम सबसे बड़ा मेट्रो नेटवर्क है, तो 100% उसके साथ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कंजम्पशन उतनी ही बढ़ जाती है। जब मैं बात करती हूँ कि दिल्ली में 100% इलेक्ट्रिक फ्लीट पे हम जाना चाहते हैं, हमारी सारी बसेस इलेक्ट्रिक हो, प्राइवेट व्हीकल्स इलेक्ट्रिक हो, तो डेफिनेटली आपकी कंजम्पशन जो एनर्जी की है वो बढ़ जाती है। और इसीलिए ज़रूरी है कि हर चीज़ को बहुत ही प्लान्ड वे में हम आगे लेकर के चलें। कहीं ऐसा ना हो कि डेवलपमेंट को टारगेट करते करते और बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम्स हम अपनी शहरों पे ले लें, देश पे ले लें। जब मैंने एज ए चीफ मिनिस्टर दिल्ली को ऑन किया तो बहुत सारी लीगेसी प्रॉब्लम्स मुझे दिखाई दी। पर्यावरण उसमें एक बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट सेगमेंट था कि पर्यावरण को कैसे बचाना है। लोग पॉल्यूशन की बात करते हैं, पर मैं पर्यावरण की बात करती हूँ, क्योंकि एज ए होल एक होलिस्टिक अप्रोच के साथ हमें आगे बढ़ना पड़ेगा, जिसका एक पार्ट पॉल्यूशन है। और जब हम पॉल्यूशन को ख़त्म करने की बात करते हैं तो हमें ये ध्यान करना पड़ता है कि कितने सेगमेंट्स पे हमें काम करना होगा। वो सारे सेगमेंट जो जहाँ धूल की बात होती है, जहाँ धुएं की बात होती है, और जहाँ धुएं की बात होती है तो अब हम कहते हैं कि भाई ये व्हीकुलर एमिशन जो है ये सबसे बड़ा कारण है पॉल्यूशन का, इसे ख़त्म किया जाना चाहिए। कैसे ख़त्म होगा? तो आपका जो ट्रांसपोर्टेशन है 100% उसको एमिशन फ्री करना होगा। जब एमिशन फ्री करने की बात करते हैं तो हम कहते हैं कि भाई उसे इलेक्ट्रीफाई कीजिए। आज दिल्ली में मैं बड़े गर्व के साथ कह सकती हूँ कि पूरे देश में जितने राज्य हैं उन सब में दिल्ली में सबसे बड़ी इलेक्ट्रिक बसों की फ्लीट है। 4000 बसें आज दिल्ली में हमने यहाँ पे चलाई है और हमारा टारगेट है कि 2029 तक दिल्ली की जो 100% इलेक्ट्रिक फ्लीट है, जिसे हम माने तो 14,000 बसें 100% हम इलेक्ट्रिक पर लेके जाने के लिए काम कर रहे हैं। और जब इतना बड़ा बस फ्लीट आपका इलेक्ट्रिक पे चलेगा, जब हम बात करते हैं कि पॉल्यूशन को कम करने के लिए लोगों को भी हमें मोटिवेट करना है कि वो अपने प्राइवेट व्हीकल्स को भी इलेक्ट्रिक पर लेकर के आएँ, तो उतना ही बड़ा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर हमें चाहिए। आपको चार्जिंग स्टेशंस चाहिए हैं, आपको बैटरी स्वेपिंग मशीन्स चाहिए आपको, तो ये सारे का सारा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर क्रिएट करना आपके राज्य की एक बहुत बड़ी ज़रूरत है। ये सीधा सीधा दिखाता है कि एनर्जी कंजम्पशन कितना बड़ा होने वाला है भविष्य में, और उसको उस ज़रूरत को पाने के लिए, उस ज़रूरत को मीट करने के लिए आपने कहा डिमांड एंड सप्लाई का बहुत बड़ा चार्ट आपने दिखाया दीपक जी। तो उस डिमांड को मीट करने के लिए हमें आज से ही उस बिजली को बनाने के लिए काम करने होंगे, वो प्लांट लगाने होंगे। और जब आपके चार्ट में देखती हूँ कि 40% कोल बेस एनर्जी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग है, तो वो एक अपने आप में दूसरा खतरा है, जहाँ से बड़ा पर्यावरण को खतरा होता है, जहाँ से पॉल्यूशन खड़ा होता है। इन सब चीज़ों को एज ए होल जब हम काम करते हैं तो मुझे दिखाई देता है कि बहुत बहुत काम करने की ज़रूरत है किसी भी शहर में, विशेष रूप से जब वो दिल्ली जो देश की राजधानी है, जहाँ एक छोटी सी दिल्ली में 3 करोड़ का पॉपुलेशन रहता हो। आपको उन्हीं रोड्स में, उसी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के साथ में वही डेवलपमेंट भी करना है, पॉल्यूशन को भी कम रखना है, ज़रूरतों को भी पूरा करना है। तो एक बड़ा चैलेंज मुझे दिखाई देता है, और उस चैलेंज को के लिए जब एक साइंटिफिक रोड मैप की तरफ मैं जाती हूँ, एक इनोवेटिव अप्रोच के साथ मैं बढ़ती हूँ, तो मुझे इन सब चीज़ें की ज़रूरत में कि डस्ट मिटिगेशन के लिए मुझे क्या करना है, तो मुझे मैकेनिकल स्वीपिंग पे जाना पड़ेगा। डस्ट मिटिगेशन, मैकेनिकल स्वीपिंग के साथ साथ अलग अलग तरह की मशीनरी, जिसमें हमने अभी दिल्ली के लिए न्यू लिटर पिकर्स खरीदे और अनेक तरह की मशीनरी। तो आज उसके लिए देखो तो वो भी मुझे इलेक्ट्रिक अप्लायंसेस है, उसको भी आपको बिजली से ही जोड़ना पड़ेगा। तो बिजली का उपयोग दिन प्रतिदिन हमारी दिनचर्या में जिस तरीके से बढ़ रहा है, हर हाथ में गैजेट है, और हर चीज़ जीवन में हम जो इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं एनर्जी से जुड़ी है। आज हमारा दिल्ली शहर बेहतर हो, विकसित हो, ग्रीन हो, उसके लिए प्लानिंग हमने अभी से शुरू की है। एक बहुत बड़ा मास प्लांटेशन ड्राइव। मैं आपको अगर ध्यान दिलाऊं तो आपको ध्यान आएगा, अधिकतर लोग यदि दिल्ली में रहने वाले हैं तो रोड साइड पे आप चलते हैं तो आपको जो प्लांटेशन दिखाई देती है, तो अधिकतर 80% प्लांटेशन आपको सफ़ेदा का पेड़ जो होता है वो दिखाई देगा, कीकर दिखाई देगा, बबूल दिखाई देगा। ये वो ब्रीड है जो कि अंग्रेज़ों के समय में कभी लगाई गई थी, जब वो उनका स्टेशन दिल्ली होता था और वो कहते थे कि राजस्थान से यदि आंधी आए तो आपकी इन पेड़ों के माध्यम से रुक जाए बस। पर एक्चुअल में क्या वो ऑक्सीजन गिवर हैं? क्या एक्चुअल में वो हमारे इस एटमॉस्फेयर को सूट करते हैं? तो इसका जवाब होगा कि नहीं। आज दिल्ली को यदि सच में पॉल्यूशन से बचाना है तो आपको ऐसा प्लांटेशन करना होगा जो आपके इस देश की माटी से जुड़ा हो, इंडिजीनियस प्लांट्स। तो नीम लगाएंगे, पीपल लगाएंगे, बरगद लगाएंगे, आम लगाएंगे। तो ऐसी सोच के साथ हम आगे बढ़ रहे हैं कि पूरे के पूरे दिल्ली शहर को एक न्यू ग्रीन कवर हम दे सकें। पहली बार दिल्ली में एक बहुत बड़ी सेगमेंट 4200 हेक्टेयर रिज एरिया को हमने फॉरेस्ट नोटिफाई किया, जो आज तक कभी नहीं हुआ। क्योंकि जब तक आप अपने इन जंगलों को नहीं बचाएंगे तो आपको ऑक्सीजन कवर, ग्रीन कवर नहीं मिल पाएगा। उस दिशा में हमने काम किया। दिल्ली में जितनी वाटर बॉडीज़ हैं उनको रिवाइव करने के लिए लगातार दिल्ली सरकार आगे बढ़ रही है, क्योंकि ये सब चीज़ें आपस में जुड़ी है। चाहे वो हवा हो, पानी हो, ज़मीन हो, ये सब चीज़ें आपस में जुड़ी है। हम ये कभी नहीं कह सकते कि आज जो कूड़े के पहाड़ खड़े हुए हैं तो वो पर्यावरण से जुड़े नहीं हैं। यस, दे आर कनेक्टेड। आज वो कूड़े के पहाड़ जिनकी बातें दिल्ली में अक्सर चर्चा होती है, वो क्या है? वो एक्चुअल में जितना दिल्ली में कूड़ा जनरेट होता है रोज़ाना का, लगभग 12,500 टन कूड़ा रोज़ाना जनरेट होता है, पर प्रोसेस नहीं हो पाता क्योंकि दिल्ली के पास वेस्ट टू एनर्जी प्लांट की कैपेसिटी कम है। आपका कूड़ा जो जनरेट हो रहा है वो 12,000 मीट्रिक टन हो रहा है, पर आपका वेस्ट डिस्पोजल जो हो रहा है वेस्ट टू एनर्जी प्लांट के माध्यम से वो मात्र 6-7 हज़ार मीट्रिक टन हो रहा है। तो कैसे आप अपनी रिक्वायरमेंट्स को पूरा कर पाएंगे? रोज़ाना वो जो एक्सेस गार्बेज है वो जुड़ जुड़ के रोज़ाना जुड़ते जुड़ते इतने सालों में वो कूड़े का पहाड़ बन गया। तो आज उनको ख़त्म करने के लिए क्या करना है? बायो माइनिंग शुरू करी गई। बायो माइनिंग स्पीड में हो ताकि जल्द इन कूड़ों का निपटान हो, उसके लिए उसकी मशीनों की संख्या बढ़ाई गई। अब मशीनें किस पे चल रही है? डेफिनेटली इलेक्ट्रिसिटी पे चल रही हैं। तो हमने टॉम्बल मशीनें जो हैं उसकी संख्या बढ़ाई, डे नाइट वर्किंग करी। आज जो डेली की प्रोसेसिंग जो होती थी बायो माइनिंग की, वो लगभग 7-8 हज़ार मीट्रिक टन की रहती थी, पर आज मैं कह सकती हूँ कि दिल्ली सरकार 30 से 35 हज़ार मीट्रिक टन कूड़ा रोजाना प्रोसेस कर रही है, बायो माइनिंग कर रही है। और इन हर चीज़ में आपको एनर्जी की ज़रूरत है, बिजली की ज़रूरत है। आपकी बात सुनकर के मुझे सच में इसकी सीरियसनेस और ज़्यादा दिखने लगी है। जब हम और आगे बढ़ते हैं, जिस ट्रांसपोर्टेशन की मैंने बात की, तो मुझे लगा कि खाली आपको बसेस देने से काम नहीं चलेगा। आपका लास्ट माइल कनेक्टिविटी वो बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि आज आप जैसे लोग, अगर मैं कह दूं कि भाई आपको मेट्रो से ट्रैवल करना है या बस से जाना है, तो आप देश हित में शायद सोच भी लें, पर जब समस्याएं आएंगी कि भाई घर से मेट्रो तक कैसे जाऊंगा और मेट्रो से उतरने के बाद अपने ऑफिस तक कैसे पहुंचूंगा, तो आप सोचेंगे भाई जो देश सेवा है उसको साइड में रखो, अपना गाड़ी उठाओ और चल पड़ो। तो इसलिए लास्ट माइल कनेक्टिविटी इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। उसके लिए लगातार हमने बहुत सारे कोशिशें की है, बहुत सारे प्रपोजल्स बनाए हैं और उन पे हम काम कर रहे हैं। वो ई बाइक हो, ई टैक्सी हो, ई रिक्शा हो, इन सब की पॉलिसी बना करके लगातार काम हो रहा है। दिल्ली को एक नई ईवी पॉलिसी मिलने वाली है, जिसमें हम चाहते हैं कि प्राइवेट सेक्टर को हम मोटिवेट करें कि वो ईवी पे आएँ, पर उसके लिए जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की ज़रूरत है उसको भी लगातार सरकार स्पीड में बनाने की कोशिश कर रही है। वो चार्जिंग स्टेशंस, वो आपके बस स्टैंड्स जो कि पूरी तरीके से अपडेटेड हों, लेटेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ में जुड़े हुए हों, उसको सरकार बना रही है। पर आपकी बात मुझे ये बहुत सही लगी कि इन सारी ज़रूरतों के लिए जो एनर्जी रिक्वायरमेंट है वो कहाँ से आने वाली है? दो तरीके हैं। एक तो आप और एनर्जी खरीदेंगे और बिजली खरीदेंगे और अपनी रिक्वायरमेंट्स को पूरा करेंगे, और दूसरा जो आपने बताया कि थोड़ा बचाना शुरू करें। और इस बचाने के लिए मुझे लगता है कि हम सबको उसके लिए सोचना पड़ेगा। आपको हैरानी होगी, पर मैं अभी राहुल जी को बता रही थी कि भी मेरी खुद की नेचर में ये है कि मैं जिस रूम से निकलती हूँ मैं कोशिश करती हूँ कि मेरा लाइट, पंखा सब मैं बंद करके निकलूँ। कई बार तो इतने बड़े सेक्रेटरीट में भी बैठी होती तो मैं कहती हूँ भाई वो क्यों फालतू जल रहा है। तो मेरा जो स्टाफ है वो भी सोचता होगा मुख्यमंत्री मैम को पता नहीं लाइट का बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है, कि ये कम एनर्जी है, ये वेस्ट नहीं होनी चाहिए एनर्जी, इसको इस तरीके से यूज़ मत करें। पर ये हम सबकी नेचर का पार्ट होना बहुत ज़रूरी है, और नेचर का पार्ट नहीं हो सकता तो जो सेकंड चीज़ आपने बताई उसको ऑटोमेट करके हम डिजिटलाइज करें, ये बहुत ज़रूरी है कि आपके, आजकल तो सब कुछ सेंसर्ड है कि आप जाएं तो बिजली ऑन हो गई, आपकी लाइट्स पंखा ऑन हो गया, और आप वहाँ से छोड़ दें तो बिजली पंखा बंद हो गया। तो हम उस टेक्नोलॉजी का उपयोग करें हर चीज़ में, हर डोमेन में, हर सेक्टर में, ऑफिस में, बाहर इंस्टीट्यूशंस में, हर जगह हमें उसका उपयोग करना ही पड़ेगा। तभी हम कहीं ना कहीं अपने रिसोर्सेज को सेव कर सकेंगे और उस डेवलपमेंट को बढ़ा सकेंगे जो हमारे इस सोच में है, जो हमारे विज़न में है, जो प्रधानमंत्री जी कहते हैं। तो हर चीज़ जुड़ी है आपस में, हमारी नेचर का पार्ट होना चाहिए रिसोर्स को सेव करने का। और कहीं ना कहीं एक चीज़ और जो मैं हमेशा कहती हूँ, हम सबके अंदर अपने देश के प्रति प्यार है। देशभक्ति मैं ऐसा मान ही नहीं सकती कि किसी व्यक्ति में ना हो। यहाँ आप सब बैठे हैं, आप सब के अंदर 100% अपने देश के प्रति प्यार होगा, पर देश के लिए मर मिटने का एक भी मौका हमें मिलने वाला नहीं है। ना देश की सरहद पे जाने का मौका मिलेगा, ना दुश्मन को गोली मारने का मौका मिलेगा, ना सीने पे गोली खाने का मौका मिलेगा, कभी भी नहीं मिलेगा। तो क्या कर सकते हैं फिर देश के लिए हम? तो देश के लिए हम जो कर सकते हैं वो ये है कि देश के लिए जीना शुरू करें और अपनी एक्टिविटीज़ में अपने देश के रिसोर्सेज को बचाना शुरू करें, आने वाली जनरेशन के लिए सोचना शुरू करें और उनके लिए भी एक नया, एक भव्य भविष्य छोड़ के जाने की हमारी नीयत होनी चाहिए, हमारे काम होने चाहिए। तो आज का ये इवेंट सच में शानदार है, बहुत कुछ सिखाने वाला है और मैं चाहूँगी कि दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट के साथ मिल कर के हम लोग और अच्छा काम कर सकते हैं। और हर व्यक्ति के लिए, मुझे सच बताऊँ तो कई बार जब ये बात होती है कि फ्रीबीज़ की, पानी की और बिजली की, तो मैं मन से सोचती हूँ कि कई बार फ्री जो चीज़ होती है ना, वो आपका यूटिलिटी को मिसगाइड करती है। आप परवाह छोड़ देते हैं उस चीज़ के लिए, आप वेस्ट करते हैं पानी को, बिजली को, वेस्टेज शुरू हो जाती है। पर आप कुछ उसके लिए पे करते हैं तो आपके दिल में थोड़ी तकलीफ़ रहती है, आप उसको ठीक से यूटिलाइज़ करते हैं। तो इसलिए हम सब लोग इस सोसाइटी के साथ जुड़कर देश के बेहतर भविष्य के हिस्सा बनते हुए अपनी एनर्जीज़ को बचाएं और देश को आगे लेके जाएं। थैंक यू सो मच।
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. The Chief Minister of Delhi, Srimati Rekha Gupta, and as she said, using the country's resources judiciously is the best expression of love for your country. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as she leaves the hall. Thank you so much for your vision for this city and on how to make it more livable. Ladies and gentlemen, as the Chief Minister said, we all have a role to play in conserving energy, and that is to use it judiciously. So you can also all pledge to be a Green Yodha. I will remind you all, ladies and gentlemen, that on the table in front of you there is a tent card. The tent card has a QR code on it. If you scan the QR code, you can also take the pledge to become a Green Yodha. When you scan it, it takes you to the website. Right. Now, if I could request you all to take your seats once again so we can keep the evening going. For our next discussion, now if the energy transition is a challenge of our time, then collective action is its most powerful solution, as the Chief Minister just said. For decades, sustainability conversations have centered around production, how we generate cleaner energy, how we scale renewables, how we build infrastructure. But today, the conversation is evolving. The real transformation lies not only in megawatts generated, but in mindsets changed. Again, as the Chief Minister talked about it a short while ago. How do we move from awareness to action, the turning off of the lights that she was talking about? How do we empower citizens, businesses, and institutions to become active participants in India's energy transition? Because technology today is not just enabling efficiency, it is shaping behavior. From smart meters to digital dashboards, from AI-driven energy management systems to intelligent gas distribution networks, innovation is making consumption visible, measurable, and manageable. So the discussion that is to follow will examine how technology is accelerating behavioral change, how companies are enabling smarter demand, and how collective responsibility can drive national impact. After all, a sustainable future is not built by a single sector, it's built when industry, policy, and citizens move together. So for our next panel, may I invite on stage now Mr. Suresh Manglani, CEO, Adani Total Gas, Nishant Arya, Vice Chairman, JBM Group, Anuj Khandelwal, Business Head, Grey Cement Business, JK Cement, and Deepak Sharma, Zone President, Greater India and MD CEO, Schneider Electric, India. And to ask the tough questions, my colleague, Ambika Singh Kama. I think that some of our panelists have possibly gone out to see the Chief Minister off. I think they have, yes. Well, maybe you could join us on stage till then, gentlemen.
We can start and then they can join.
Yes, absolutely.
Where's Ambika?
She's just coming. I think she may have gone off to turn off some lights at the back of this set. I'm just kidding. There she is. A round of applause for Ambika too. Not start now.
Just waiting for Nishant for a second. I think we're just waiting for Mr. Nishant Arya. Otherwise, we can start.
Ambika, we can start. Ambika, we can start. I'm just calling you.
We'll just start in a second. We can see Nishant nearly here. Sorry to keep you all waiting. Welcome everyone. Now today's Green Yodha conversation is more than just a panel. It's a gathering of change makers shaping India's sustainable future. We are joined by leaders from energy, gas, cement, and mobility, 4 sectors that sit at the heart of our economy and at the front lines of climate responsibility. Now this transition to a low-carbon world isn't just about technology or infrastructure. It's really about reimagining how we live, how we move, and most importantly, how we consume. This dialogue is about moving from intent to impact, from awareness to everyday action. Together, we'll explore how innovation is turning sustainability into a shared habit and how collective responsibility can power national transformation. So we have an amazing panel. Thank you all so much for joining us. Let me introduce you to, we have Mr. Suresh Manglani, CEO, Adani Total Gas. We also have joining us today Mr. Nishant Arya, Vice Chairman, JBM Group, Mr. Anuj Khandelwal, Business Head, Grey Cement, JK Cement, and also joining us is Mr. Deepak Sharma, Zone President, MD and CEO of Schneider Electric India. Thank you all so much for joining us in this critical conversation. Suresh, I would like to begin with you. You are a CDG company. You know, when we talk about large number of licenses, how do you see energy transition taking place and the role of natural gas in the future of energy basket of our country?
Good evening, everyone. Let me first thank Schneider and NDTV for this transformation idea or initiative which you are taking and also consistently driving it forward. And Deepak, you made a very good presentation. I think you saw Honorable Chief Minister multiple times she referred your presentation, and I think she has gone back with some more promises within herself. Now, actually, after seeing the Deepak's presentation and CM's remarks, I think maybe I may be seen as an odd man out here, that I am not driving EV. Of course, my company does the EV also, but primarily our company is on the city gas distribution. Now, I always say that you can't see a movie with one star only. There have to be co-starers. So then only you will enjoy the movie, and every star should have its space. And you really feel, if I saw 3 Idiots, I think movie was good. Because there were 3 stars. If you have only one Amir Khan playing, that movie you won't like it actually. So I think every fuel will have its space. In my view, in Indian context, where we have 1.4, 1.45 billion people, GDP growing with 7.5%, 8%. Honorable Prime Minister has laid down the vision of 5 trillion economy by 2030. And at the same time, when Government of India set the target of 500 gigawatt of renewable energy, there was another commitment was made by India that natural gas share in energy basket will grow from 6 to 15%. So in Indian context, where even today per capita consumption is comparatively very low vis-a-vis the developed country, I think we should also talk about energy coexistence.
Yes.
Not only energy transition. So in that sense, in my view, natural gas will certainly have its own role. When we have to drive it from 6.5% to 15%, it has to almost go to 3 to 3.5x. So it is going to have a good space in future. Not only energy transition will happen, of course transition will happen because EV or renewable energy, natural gas, hydrogen, they will replace to some extent the solid fuels which are being consumed today and also expand the demand of more cleaner energy. In the future, more consumption of cleaner energy will happen. I'll just give you 1 or 2 data points. When I say energy coexistence, in 2021, India sold roughly 2 lakh CNG vehicles, 4-wheelers. In 26, India is selling almost 12 lakh CNG vehicles. So 6 times growth. At the same time, 2021, India sold 5,000 4-wheelers, and 2026 we will be almost crossing 2 lakh 4-wheelers, so which is almost 40 times growth. If I talk about the buses, we had 4,000 buses in 21, today it is 10,000. At the same time, we had roughly 400 buses in EV, and we are going to go around 5,000 buses. So I think these are coexisting, if you
Absolutely.
see. And in the future also is going to coexist. So that's what...
In fact, thank you so much, Suresh, for sharing those impactful numbers. Really shows that the transition is happening and, of course, need for more, but thank you for sharing that. And like you rightly said, 3 actors, but initially also I said we have 4 very, very important sectors, but thanks for bringing that out so differently. Nishant, coming to JVM, right? It's deeply invested in electric mobility, sustainable transportation. Now, how do you ensure that manufacturing of clean mobility solutions, it itself is cleaner, smarter green systems? How are you ensuring that?
So see, it's very interesting and opportune time for India when I look at it as not India's decade, but India's century now. And whilst we do this, we see that India is becoming slowly the manufacturing powerhouse for the world. And in the moment we end up looking at that, we see technology is playing a very critical role. And when technology plays a very critical role, you have to see that how all facilities, which probably 10 years back people used to look at, Industry 4.0, machine-to-machine connectivity, and high level of automation as something which is great to have, but today it's hygiene. So it's very basic in nature for any company to be competitive in the global market. At the same time, how you are using digitization and data connectivity, data analytics, IoT, and clearly understanding that how real-time decision-making is becoming very essential. So when we are catering to customers in India and across different parts of the world, we see that every customer is looking for an experience. So when they are looking for an experience, you have to see that how do you give them a customized package and what's relevant for them. And that's where, in terms of EV ecosystem, you try and see that in terms of, as the Honorable Chief Minister also spoke a couple of times about electric vehicles, and then charging solutions, lithium battery technology, power electronics, semiconductors. But many of these are not very well understood by an end user because they may seem to find it not very layman worthy in terms of the jargons and the terminologies which they have. So one has to categorically understand that how do each one of them convert into a user-friendly experience, and how are we able to build products which are able to cater to their requirements. So I think that's what our ethos is as an organization, whilst we try to see that sustainability drives scalability.
Yes.
And whilst you do that, you have to look at the whole ecosystem. So when you talk about, as she spoke about, renewable energy as well, so from generation to consumption, how do you make everything green? And whilst you're doing that, so you see today, close to 50% of the installed capacity in India is renewable with different form factors, and close to 20 to 23% of the gigawatt hours produced are renewable gigawatt hours. So today we are seeing that the grids are finding and having challenges whilst they're doing so during the day. So I think solutions like EV, where you're using them, really see that how that can be consumed, and from end-to-end perspective. So as Suresh mentioned, about 500 gigawatt of renewable energy and then 1,000 gigawatt by 2047. So we are having a roadmap where you are seeing that you are having things like semiconductor electronics in place, to renewable energy, to electric mobility, and to the final user.
Absolutely, and I think what you said, sustainability really leads, when I talk about scalability,
Correct.
reaching out to the masses, I think that's also, again, a very important point when we talk about making it a people's movement, how each one of us can also make a difference. But of course, from the mobility aspect, well, thanks for sharing that. Just moving on to the next one, Anuj, talking about cement. Now, coming to cement, it's often seen as a carbon-intensive industry. When we also looking at India's growth, India's infrastructure, the way it's accelerating, obviously, it means that the demand for cement is only going up. How is JK Cement really balancing? Of course, growth is important, but keeping decarbonization in mind.
No, I think it's an excellent question. Look, you are absolutely right. The cement industry is one of high emitter industries. Basically, every ton of cement which gets produced releases globally 640 kgs of CO2, which is high. And the good thing is India is one of the more efficient ones, but still the number is quite high. And India is just getting started in terms of construction, right? Honorable Prime Minister's vision of housing for all, so much infrastructure development, the data centers coming up, etc. The demand for construction and hence cement will go up. Now, if the demand goes up and if we do not focus on sustainability, it becomes a challenge per se. So in JK Cement, we've taken very aggressive sustainability goals. Over the last 5 years, we've reduced our carbon footprint by 20% per ton of cement through multiple aspects. There's no one silver bullet. We've increased our renewable energy, green energy consumption, or the mix per se. We've been starting using alternate fuels. So like the Honorable Chief Minister said that there's so much waste which is generated. That waste also has inherent energy which we kind of use in our clinkerization process. And we also try to work on product mix so that the products which are used by customers are of the requisite quality, but still has less, let's say, carbon intensity.
Great.
So through various methods we are at it, because it's not just a business imperative, it's also a societal imperative.
Absolutely.
And we would like to continue at this journey.
Well, keep up that, good to hear that, how the impact is really being seen on ground. Well, Deepak, thank you so much when you took us. I think you set the context coming to you. I don't have to ask you too much because thank you for taking us through that roadmap. But I just want to ask you a very simple question. How is Schneider Electric embedding sustainability into its core business strategy beyond just energy efficiency? Because we've heard about the energy efficiency bit.
So again, I think sustainability is not only about, as we spoke about energy only. We have made a lot of commitments that how we run our operations sustainably. Let's talk first with the employees' perspective, right? That's also part of the sustainability index we have put together as a commitment at the group level, at the world level, at the India level. For example, do we have the right balance of our population of our employees with the right balance, right, between genders, which is not the case. Few years ago, we were a very one gender-specific company. We have now almost 35% of our genders are getting balanced. So it's not done yet. We want to make it 50%. Pay parity, between two genders is still a big gap. If I take the world data, it will take 200 years to bring the pay parity between the two genders. Schneider India has already done it last year. Right? So when we talk about hiring people, we are not only hiring from only A and B. I mean, every part of the society is now hired in the company, irrespective of in the gender, so inclusivity. So these are small elements we've been also practicing in the country. We have a commitment to the group, to the external, our shareholders, and we actually measure it. This is just about people. We also talk about skilling. How much skilling can we bring to the society? So for example, we are almost running 700 vocational training centers where the ones who are not as privileged as you or me, couldn't afford. How do we make them electricians or automation engineers who can go and fix jobs, make some livelihood? We have almost trained 340 lakh youth in the last couple of years, and this journey only continues. So sustainability, there are almost 17 points which I can continue. Yeah. So it's a sustainability commitment is not about just doing energy efficiency, as you rightly said. It's about how do we build the foundation which will go for generations to come and make our ecosystem.
And besides building the foundation, also the holistic approach, right? Because we have to leave the environment, the world a better place for our future generations, right? Exactly. Well, thanks for that. Nishant, coming back to JBM, right? It has built one of India's most comprehensive EV ecosystems. We talk about buses, we talk about infrastructure, but obviously there are challenges, and there's challenges in every sector. But coming specifically to you first, what is the biggest barrier when you see this mass EV adoption in India? And you did say about using technology, but do you tell us how AI is helping you overcome it? AI, tech?
Sure. So what happens is that almost the number of moving parts reduced from about 2,000 moving parts to 20 moving parts in an electric bus, if I take an example. And that's where we see that 95% plus concerns which one may face are addressed through remote diagnostics. So everything happens on a OT over-the-air basis, and that's where AI and train-the-trainer programs. So like today, companies like ourselves, we have like about 12,000 people which get added every year to different kind of workforces which are deployed across the country for maintenance, repair, overall operations. So I think biggest challenge is to see that today on one side we do have 1.6 million engineers which we produce every year. On the other side, how are they getting relevantly educated for such kind of domains? I think is the biggest challenge, and that's where we are seeing that such kind of AI tools, whether for technology deployment, technical solutions, or for training different students and people who are aptly positioning themselves and are keen to learn further, I think are doing that. So I think the biggest requirement is that how are we able to institutionalize this and see that how things become a lot more inclusive for people. And what our experience has been that people are extremely willing, and especially the younger generation is very aptly positioned to use technology inherently in their day-to-day behavior. So I think that is coming across very well.
Bridging the gap and using it the right way.
Exactly,
Yeah? Well,
exactly.
Again, coming to the cement industry, Anuj, obviously, again, cement manufacturing is resource intensive and under pressure to reduce emissions, like you rightly had said as well. I want to ask you the same question. How can AI enable smarter production, better, also waste utilization, we say waste to wealth, and circular economy practices to make the industry more sustainable?
No, yes, look, AI right now is getting into the heart of the entire sustainability journey. Because think about it, the sustainability journey can be in two phases. Like you can catch the low-hanging fruits and get to some sort of reductions. But as you start getting efficient, then AI helps in furthering the journey forward. Now, I'll just give you an example. There's a waste heat recovery system in our plants which can basically, make the entire clinkerization of operations power self-sufficient. Around at least 80% of the power usage which is needed in the clinkerization operation basically can, be made self-sufficient by waste heat recovery system. Now, we can set up the system, 75 to 80% of the energy can be replaced, but that AI element can make the difference between 75% getting replaced versus 80 or 85% getting replaced. Now, once that happens, the payback of these projects, when you set up a waste heat recovery system, it involves a lot of investment. But if the AI is able to make those investments more efficient, you keep making those investments more and more. So there are multiple such examples where AI, when layered on top of these sustainability mechanisms, can actually fasten the journey, make it far more feasible for the companies to take up.
So absolutely a win-win situation here again, right? Using AI the right way. Again, for the gas, Suresh, I want to ask you, when we talk about gas distribution, obviously it faces its own set of challenges, efficiency, safety, and demand forecasting. Same question when I talk about tech, when I talk about AI, how is it really helping you optimize networks and most importantly, providing safe, reliable gas?
Thank you. I think it is a very critical, important question. But before I come to that, I think as I'm hearing and the discussions are going on of talking 100% electrification, 100% EV, I think we are a country where we love thali, not the one item. We don't love one item. We don't eat one item. I think going to this extreme that 2 years back, 1 year back, everybody talked about, all governments were talking about CNG, CNG and CNG. Maybe sometime later we'll have a same conference, we'll talk about hydrogen, hydrogen, hydrogen. I think we should certainly have a coexistence. We should make sure that we move more on more cleaner side. And importantly, I think what we should do also, as I keep saying in several conferences, that India should move now from transactional policies development to the universalization of policies. What I meant to say was that we should now develop a policy where there is a level playing field available to each fuel. Let's say you categorize green fuel, EV coming from renewable energy is a green fuel. Hydrogen is a green fuel. Compressed biogas from biofuels coming as green fuel. You categorize that as a green fuel and ensure all fiscal benefits, incentives, taxation are uniformly applied. Then you categorize cleaner fuel, CNG, LPG, LNG, they will be all falling under cleaner fuel and certain emission norms. Ensure that all policy development across the ministries, state or central, are driven by giving same fiscal benefits, taxation benefits to the cleaner fuel. And then you have a rest of the fuel, coal, fuel oil, several liquid fuels, solid fuels, and you have a rest of the fuels.
Yeah.
So that will drive us that tomorrow when hydrogen comes, renewable power driven EV comes, they are being given space in that thali that you have greener fuel, then you have a cleaner fuel and the rest of the fuel. So I think that's the way we should move because we are a very vast country.
Yes.
We need coexistence of the energy and coexistence of the fuels. Coming to your side of the question, briefly I will answer because I thought this is very critical for me to communicate. But I'll take a minute. At Adani Group or at ATGL, I think across our businesses, including ATGL. Automation, transformation, digitalization are part of our DNA. This is a way of life for us, actually. And many of you have seen in our system how we run. Adani Total Gas is virtually a digital utility, actually. It is every device of ours, whether it is a CNG station, your home, commercial industries, all devices set up across the country in 126 districts in the country are fully connected at our command and control center. We are able to see real-time basis how the gas is flowing, how much is being sold, how much is in the tank, and how much is being lost or unaccounted. So I think we are fully utilizing the technology, and we are ensuring that we pace up with the new now buzzwords which we have been talking continuously, whether it is agentic AI, humanized AI, or robotic AIs. All those forms are being fully ensured that we fully utilize, and also ensure we take full benefit of machine learning or large language data models, etc. So I think we are taking full benefit of that.
Well, thank you for sharing that, how it's being utilized. I think that also gives, sends out a strong message out there. Deepak, we've spoken, all our panelists here have discussed how AI and tech is helping and driving really an energy efficient India. We also heard what Schneider is doing. In your view, why don't you also share an example with us, what the company is doing and also enabling and powering this transformation?
Talking about AI powering.
Yes, tech, AI.
So let's talk about AI. I mean, very, the buzzword of today. Everybody is on it. I mean, we do use a couple of tools. But just for an example, when you have an AI-driven data center or a center which is doing the learning part of the training part of the AI, a normal data center uses, if X power of energy, the GPU-driven, the AI-driven data center uses 10X. Right? So if you Google and do I was talking earlier, if you Google on a web page on your normal browser, and you do the same thing on a chat GPT or Gemini or any other tool, you have actually used 10 times more energy for the same question. So this energy peak is going to be the challenge as you will process more data centers. India does today around 1.5 gigawatt of data centers. We are talking about building another 6 to 8, right, high level, 6 to 8 in the next 7 years. So we would need a lot of energy. Now, I don't think in India, and we're not talking about the West, India, we don't have an energy challenge. We will have a peak demand challenge. So we can always feed energy, we can build energy, and companies like us, we talk about power to chip. The chip is the processor. Now that's where the energy passes. The real challenge is this chip, the famous GPU of the companies we hear, they generate energies at 60, 70 degrees. आप actually roti बना सकते हैं उस पे. So what happens is you have to then cool it. So while you first heat it, then you have to cool it. And that's where the story of energy of grid to chip and chip to chiller becomes important. So all this energy equation would be even more needed. But again, comes back to the fundamental point we've been discussing since morning or since after early evening. How do we actually use it efficiently? So technologies are available. We're already powering those technologies. We have built one of the biggest data centers in India. I mean, without naming the brands, every second data center in this country is powered by us. But for me, the problem is not going to be the power itself. It's going to be managing the peak. So all of us doing Googling or doing ChatGPT during the day, in the night, probably only few are doing. So the load tanks. The load tanks, how do you manage the grid? So India will not have an energy challenge. India would have a stability challenge of the grid for managing the peaks.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you so much for that. Now, gentlemen, before the closing remarks, one quick question, or it could be your closing remark. I'll start, I think with you, Nishant. I mean, again, 60 plus manufacturing plants operate with zero liquid discharge. I was, researching somewhere, and the renewable, obviously this shows how y'all are using renewable energy. How do you balance the scale of industrial production with ambition of maintaining truly green facilities, something which all of us or other industries specifically can learn and take away from?
I think Deepak spoke in the beginning of his presentation also about how you're deploying energy efficient systems. So the energy efficient systems which you are putting in place, coupled with the green energy initiatives, like today close to about 40% plus of our energy sources are green sources. And third is that waste heat recovery, and how are you utilizing and not losing out on any energy source in the facilities. I think that's very important, and where people have to really understand that energy as a cost is one part of it, but sustainability as a commitment is something very essential. And that's why recently we were also listed as one of the leading ESG compliant companies were done in Bradstreet. Because, you know, as an organization, not only in India, but worldwide, sustainability is a core focus, not only from a business perspective, because majority of our business areas are those, but also from an organization perspective internally, each one of us try to contribute to the whole ecosystem.
Great. Well, thanks for that. Anuj, closing remarks from you, please.
I think, see, sustainability is a one-way street, which we all need, you know, for our day-to-day lives. And as Honorable Chief Minister very rightly mentioned, and see, sustainability is not always at odds with profitability. And that's what we as industry leaders have to find out ways. Especially in a energy-intensive industry like ours, sustainability actually, till a large extent, actually leads to profitability improvement. So we just need to find out ways how to do it. Beyond a point, of course, as you know, you progress forward, things will be difficult and ways have to be found out. And that's where partnerships, whether it is with the customers, with the government authorities, with service partners, with tech partners, all become very important. And we are all pledged towards making this society far more sustainable.
Well, thank you for that. I think, again, a very strong message out there. Suresh ji, your closing remarks.
So I'll have two messages actually.
Please go ahead.
But before I do that, I think I was talking a lot about the gas, but I can tell you Adani Total Gas has been ranked by international agency as globally placed 9th on ESG rating in the utility. 9th, globally, not in India. We are India, one of the top company in the utility company which has the highest rating on ESG. So we do a lot on ESG. Now my closing remarks, I think I am saying that it is not the issue. When we talk about energy transition in this Green Yodha initiative idea, it is not energy replacement. I think it is energy expansion. Yeah. It is energy independence. How do we make, as our Honorable Prime Minister says, how do we make India Atmanirbhar on energy? So we shouldn't be saying just replace the energy. We should say, how do we expand the energy? And I'll give you one example where we have been continuously working with on advocacy that MSME, the micro, small, medium enterprises is the growth engine of this country. Around 1/3 of our GDP is coming from MSME.
Yes.
Almost 50% exports happens from MSME. 35% of the employment is generated by MSME. And they are using almost 50 to 60% of pollutant fuels. Because, as I said earlier, on a transport fuel side or other fuel side, we need to provide level playing field to MSME to embrace a cleaner fuel.
Very valid point.
In NCR, MSME has to use natural gas. Outside NCR, MSME can use the coal.
Yes.
How do they compete when they are producing same product? They will not be able to compete. What should it be done is that, like we provide PLI, production-linked incentive for manufacturing, our suggestion is that we provide consumption-linked incentive, CLI, for an MSME for the next 3 to 5 years to embrace cleaner fuel like a natural gas and make India Swachh Bharat 2.0. One we are already doing at our homes, or our factories or offices, everywhere, walks of the life. But another Swachh Bharat is waiting for our workers who are working in MSME to breathe cleaner fuel through Swachh Bharat 2.0 by embracing CLI, natural or the cleaner fuels in the MSME.
Thank you so much for that very strong message again, because really the responsibility is on each one of us. Last word to you, Deepak, quickly before we wrap.
So my limited request, and I want to keep the answer tagged to what we've been discussing. We are all confirming it's possible.
Yes.
We're all saying we can do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I think the only message I want to leave it is that it's not only about us in the corporates. If we can do it at our level, let's extend it to the ones who need the most. But let's do it. Let's do it. Kuch karte hain is the only message I want to leave the thought today.
Let's together do it.
Let's together do it.
Let's together do it. Well, thank you all so much, gentlemen, for joining me today. What really stands out here is that sustainability is no longer, I think, an option. It's not an isolated effort, but it's about, like you rightly said, let's do it. It's about collective innovation. And of course, it's a responsibility for each one of us to take. Thank you all so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And I request, Suresh, I think you want to give all our panelists mementos. Please go ahead. Can we please have a round of applause for our panelists who've really shared their vision and what they're doing, I think towards a greener environment and a better country for all of us to live in.
Another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for our panelists. And that Green Yodha call of let's do it, let's do it. As one of the panelists said, sustainability is a one-way street and does not have to be at the cost of profitability. We all have a role to play. We can all be Green Yodhas, and you can start right now by scanning the QR code on the tent cards and the tables in front of you and take the pledge on the website. Now, we've been talking about the collective power of a nation, but of course, every movement needs its catalysts, those individuals who bridge the gap between corporate vision and public action. So to take this conversation a little deeper and further, we have two such leaders with us. One is, of course, someone who you've already heard on this stage not a few minutes ago, and who is driving the digital transformation of energy at Schneider Electric. The other is a powerhouse of cinema who uses her platform to champion the planet. Please welcome back to the stage Deepak Sharma, Zone President Greater India and MD and CEO of Schneider Electric India, and sustainability icon Bhumi Pednekar for our headline Fireside Chat. A round of applause, please, for them. And to moderate, my colleague, Ambika Singh Kama.
Sorry. Sustainability often feels too vast, something meant for industries rather than individuals. But the truth is, each of us can be the hero of India's energy story. By saving just 1 unit of electricity a day, we can power the 1 unit mission and create real, measurable impact. We need to act now because the choices we make today will define the future we and our children inherit tomorrow. Now, today we bring together two inspiring voices from very different worlds, but united in one mission, which is sustainability. I'm happy to introduce, we have with us Ms. Bhumi Pednekar, acclaimed actor and passionate climate advocate who has used her platform to raise awareness about climate change and inspire millions to take action. So another round of applause for Bhumi, please. Also joining us in this conversation, we have Mr. Deepak Sharma, Zone President, MD and CEO of Schneider Electric India, who is also leading the charge in building smarter, greener infrastructure and empowering industries to reduce their carbon footprint. Now together, the two represent, I mean, they represent two sides, of the same coin, the people's power and the innovation that makes it possible. Another round of applause for our two guests today. Bhumi, it's a pleasure to have you with us, and of course you're celebrated as an actor, but you also have really lent your voice for the cause which when we worked together for over 10 years, I've been seeing how you've been so passionate about this cause. I think to begin this conversation, what you need to tell each one of us is what really inspired you to, actually move away just beyond cinema to activism.
I think, well, good evening, everyone. And thank you so much for having me. Thank you for making me a part of this very important conversation. And I don't think I ever miss out on an opportunity when I'm invited to speak on anything in the space of sustainability. And I think, so the reason I decided to use my platform to create true impact is because as the conversation through the day has happened, sustainability today is not a choice. Right? It is not an option. It is the only choice that we have. We have to adapt, we have to adopt, we have to make sure that we all evolve and make it a part of our everyday lives. It is the only lifestyle that we need to have. And the reason I have activism in my art is to begin with because I'm just that sort of a person. You know, it also came from a place of extreme fear of what my future is going to look like. And I say this time and again, jab hum kehte hain, I'm going to keep switching between Hindi and English.
Yes.
Jab hum kehte hain that we want to protect our families. What are we protecting our families from? We are protecting them from making sure that our children grow up in the kind of habitable planet that I grew up in. You know, they grow up in an environment where they don't have to choose between a certain weather to go and play outside.
Yeah, or wear masks.
Absolutely, or wear masks, or, you know, have like portable devices that give them clean air.
Yeah, hoping it's giving us clean air.
Absolutely. So it was this fear because of which I decided to use my platform and I started whatever initiatives I started, and I think that's why I'm here. It's been a very long journey and I've not been doing this since I became an actor. I've been extending my voice since before I was an actor. I think just being an actor gave me a larger platform, and I really hope that one day I can also make a film around it.
Absolutely. I mean, in fact, you know, thank you for lending your voice for something which is so crucial and how it impacts each one of us. And you rightly said, we really don't have time. Sustainability is not an option. We need to act now. And that's what we're going to be talking about. Before I actually come to the one-unit mission, before I come to you, Deepak, I want to ask Bhumi a question about the one-unit mission, which Deepak had spoken about. I mean, you lead by example. So what made you believe in this idea of the one-unit mission? Please tell all of us.
You know, what really resonated with me was the fact that I'm a very strong believer that change, the conversation of change might start in boardrooms, but real change happens in living rooms, in kitchens, in homes. And I think this mission was something that had the ability and has the ability to reach people at large. Because the message is very simple. What are we telling people? That even if we save 1 unit, we're a nation of over 1 billion people. So imagine the kind of impact we can have if we can reach those many homes and those many individuals. And I strongly believe that women really lead the charge where change is concerned. And that's why I deeply resonated with the one-unit mission. And again, thank you so much for making me a part of it. I think it's an incredible initiative because we've simplified it. Right? We've made it
tough,
easy.
It's doable, and each one can be a part of it. So ladies and gentlemen, please pledge. Yeah, if you haven't taken that pledge.
Absolutely. And I think the whole point of this conversation is that we encourage more people to take that pledge. And I really hope that by the end of it, आपके जितने भी viewers हैं, हम उनको enough inspire कर पाए that we have a lot of people that come on to this mission.
और ज़रूरी है कि awareness से हम उसको action में बदले, right?
बिल्कुल.
Intent is not enough. I think it's the impact which we need to see.
Absolutely.
So Deepak, obviously, since Bhumi has, you know, obviously explained it really well, we see her passion for the cause. I want to ask you specifically, what do you think businesses can do for the one-unit mission, and how can Schneider Electric actually help them save energy at scale overall?
So first, thank you, Bhumi, for coming and supporting us. Thank you, Ambika and Rahul and NDTV for making this a full nationwide campaign. What we've been speaking for the last few minutes is, let's say we have 350 million homes in the country. If we save 1 unit, we did discuss that earlier, per home, right? We're not talking about individual. If we do both of us, then we're multiplied by 2.
Yeah.
I'm saying even 1. We're talking about powering the first. We're first going to save emissions of around 90 million tons of carbons. We're talking about planting billions of trees. We spoke about this. We're talking about equivalent of saying 51 million cars are not running anymore on the road. Now, this is one part. But don't forget, we're still a society where 80% of the people are not yet equipped with the basic needs. So, unko jo feed karna hai, that is also this saving is going to feed them. So the equation is not only to efficiently and save, but also to electrify where the electrification is needed more. And that's why I think the technologies we are presenting, when talking about, do exist today, and the pledge of using it. I think the challenge is not to say, ये हो सकता है, मैं करूँगा या मैं करूँगी.
करना पड़ेगा. I think वो भी सोचना
is the
पड़ेगा.
point. I think we want to bring this in 1 unit commitment, and then we achieve 2. First, we save what we misuse or we overuse, but while we save the planet. We would leave a greener place for our next generations. While we do that, we also give them to the society where the needs still are not at the right level.
So along with saving, we're also sharing, right? I think that's a beautiful message out there.
Efficiency and electrifying who don't have.
And we're also more mindful, and that's my next question to you, just adding to what Deepak said, Bhumi, in a world where, I mean, of course, we have aspirations, there's excess, right? We want bigger homes, better cars, there is more consumption, selfish living, let me put it that way. Now, a mission like the Green Yodha and the 1 unit mission is asking people to really pause and consciously think. Now, do you really think people are ready for this? And more importantly, how can we take something like this to the masses?
You know, I 100% think people are ready for it, because today all the conversation that we have in this room is conversation that a lot of people are privy to. और मैं genuinely believe करती हूँ कि ऐसा नहीं है लोगों को कुछ करना नहीं है. But I often feel that people think that there is no value to what they are trying to do. And I feel a simplified mission, like the 1 unit mission, will make them realize कि अगर आप 1 unit भी अपने घर का बचाओगे ना, उसका macro effect बहुत ज़्यादा बड़ा होगा. So I completely, I'm an optimist, okay? I feel that today is a time where you need a revolution to happen.
Yes.
And it is conversations like so. It is people like us, people in places of power that can create impact, right? And when you give them something that is so easily doable and something that makes them feel like, okay, I'm contributing to a larger problem and I'm helping them with a solution, I believe har koi karega. And there was a second part to your question that I've blanked out about.
No, like, I mean, are we ready, and how do we really take it to the masses? आम आदमी के पास कैसे ये message लेके जाएं?
मुझे लगता है सबसे पहली बात that how do we have more people that have some sort of soft power speaking about it? Right? Cinema, मैं आपको एक बहुत अच्छा example देती हूँ. I was a part of a film called Toilet Ek Prem Katha, okay, which was around the Swachh Bharat mission. And there was a real tangible change that we saw within the country where open defecation was concerned. It actually reduced. So I feel that when you have people that have influence speaking about it in simplified jargon, nothing complicated, I feel the conversation around sustainability should not just be around people that are maybe trying to find a solution where tech is concerned, etc., etc. I have been listening to Deepak ji speak, and you know, we've connected in the past as well, and something that I really appreciate about what him and Schneider Electric is trying to do is that they're trying to simplify everything for us, right? So we definitely need more influencers, more content creators, maybe cinema, a movie around it. Imagine if you had a film around the 1 unit mission. How incredible would it be? But I also want to Sure. See, there are claps in the audience.
And you wanted to ask Deepak a question,
I actually wanted to ask you that, you know, what are your plans to democratize this? How do we reach people? How do we make sure that they know that there is something so powerful, a tool so powerful that they have?
Yeah. So thank you so much. Let me play a 2-minute video. Okay. And you see in reality how this efficiency, what we're doing, is actually helping the ones who are not in this room, right? Can I have that video, please?
Impact doesn't happen overnight. Impact is about consistently pushing the boundaries of possibility. the Schneider Electric India Foundation envisions impact as driving national progress by improving lives and creating opportunities for the less fortunate.
Numerous villages worldwide encounter livelihood changes because of unpredictable climate conditions. Access to essential needs such as healthcare, education, and clean drinking water is limited due to unreliable power, crop failures, expensive diesel pumps, darkness after sunset, and migration due to lack of livelihood opportunity. These remain harsh realities for millions. But in 2 villages, a transformation is underway. These are Chatti and Sahal villages in Jharkhand, India, where Schneider Electric's innovative solar solution is transforming the lives of people. Welcome to India's climate-smart villages, where technology meets tradition to create a sustainable future. Once dependent on unpredictable rains and costly diesel pumps, these farmers now harvest hope. Schneider's solar-powered irrigation pumps have revolutionized agriculture here.
पहले बरसात में भर खेती होता था मेरा घर में और बाकी टाइम में पलायन चल जाते थे, घर में कोई काम नहीं रहता था तो सोलर पंप लगा, तब से हम तीनों सीजन खेती कर रहे हैं, बरसात में भी, गर्मी में भी, ठंडा में भी। बरसात में मेरा होता है धान खेती, उड़द, मड़ुआ, और गर्मी में होता है टमाटर, तरबूज, फिर ठंडा मौसम में होता है मटर, सरसों।
This increase in crop yield has not just provided food security, but has also doubled the income of 200 families over the last 4 years. But the impact goes beyond the fields. Schneider's solution powers agro-processing machines, enabling villagers to add value to their crops right here in the villages. The Gagra Woman Farmer Producer Company manages this entire system, from irrigation to processing and marketing, empowering women and boosting the local economy. The Farmer Producer Organization, FPO, supported by Schneider Electric India, has revolutionized how farmers in Chatti and Sahal do business.
Yeah, so I think again we come back. The efficiency story has 2 elements. One, how we leave the carbon footprint, decarbonize the planet. But don't forget, there are still so many in the world, in our own country, who don't have the power. So these technologies are actually going to power them. This particular village, when we recorded the video, there were 2. Now we have 11 such villages we have done by Schneider Electric. And you should go and see them. The ones who were blessing us, right? You know, normally in a village, they will put hand on your head. They were women. Love. Because what they said, dada log, you know, men, you know, हम लोग 4 बजे उठ के धान कूटते थे. Now these technologies are making machines which can remove the husk and the wheat in less than 2 minutes. They are storing energy so that it can use in the night. The mustard, which she said, I'm doing 3 crops, and there are studies done by the relevant government bodies who have validated those data. Their incomes have gone up. The mustard, which they used to carry, again, men were not doing anything. Yeah. The women who has to carry those bundle of kgs of... So
it's helping them.
Yeah.
And empowering
they are the
them.
ones who are running this mustard extrusion in their own village. They are extruding the oil, packing the oil. Now they have electric-driven 3-wheeler and they can bring those, you know, back to a... So all this is happening by technology. So what I'm saying is optimism, it's possible. सिर्फ करने का एक वो नशा करना है, otherwise this is what is happening.
Just taking that step forward, and what you rightly said, right? Women are being impacted the most. I mean, you said that, Bhumi, when it comes to climate change as well. Always. Women are impacted more because they have to go to get water if there's water shortage, if there's a drought, which we're seeing more. They are everywhere, food security. उनको भूखा रहना पड़ता है.
And also within agriculture, like most people the gender that does most of the laborious work are women, you know, so they will be the first beneficiaries for any kind of disruptive technology or any kind of disruptive work that happens.
Very true. Okay, just Bhumi, well, thanks Deepak for sharing that. You know, Bhumi, you did speak about Toilet Prem Katha, and we saw the impact it had. Of course, that point was a national movement. We see the impact. Nobody was talking about open defecation, and you know, the whole country was talking ODF. I mean, toilets was never considered a conversation which we would have in the drawing room, but it was from the Red Fort when the Prime Minister spoke about it. Now, the movie was impactful. We really know that storytelling is powerful, right? Whether it's through campaigns, whether it's through films. How do you see storytelling actually change mindsets of people, especially on sustainability? Also, how do you feel this whole mission which we're talking about, the one unit mission, how can we really make this a social movement, some things that can reach every household in our country, because it really, really matters. Because like Deepak said, it's not just about that one unit, it's not just about saving, it's about ensuring that people who don't have, we are sharing with them.
Absolutely, and I think that's such a beautiful thought, because I've always led my life by being an empath, and sharing kind of is the first layer to it. I think coming to the first part of your question, that what is the power of storytelling? Storytelling sets the narrative of what the future generations and what the current generations are dealing with. I think it is extremely important. It is something that also helps topics or things become a part of pop culture, and pop culture in many ways decides what the generation is going to follow, right? So if I as an actor have a huge platform that listens to me, so it is my responsibility to make sure that I use this platform in the best way possible to create as much impact as I can. That's why my work off-screen and off-screen, on-screen and off-screen is always led by impact. See, because the truth of the matter is, as even Deepak said very rightly, कि बात ये होती है कि यार कुछ करते हैं, सिर्फ एक माइंडसेट का डिफरेंस होता है. वी कांट लिव इन एन ऑस्ट्रिच मेंटालिटी कि मैं ना अपना सर अभी अंदर डाल देता हूँ, मेरे आसपास जो हो रहा है प्रिटेंड लाइक कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. वी कांट लिव लाइक दैट एनी मोर. वी हैव टू एक्सेप्ट दैट वी ऑल हैव टू डू आवर लिटिल बिट सो दैट the larger problem can be dealt with. And I think most of it just starts with intent. क्या आपके पास वो intent है कि आप वो change का हिस्सा बनना चाहते हो या नहीं बनना चाहते हो? So for me, storytelling is very important, and that's why I constantly push my fellow filmmakers, my fellow co-actors that listen, all of us have soft power, we have a very strong platform, and now is the time to make sure that we propagate what's needed, now more than ever. And coming to how do we reach millions of hearts, I think just by making sure that we celebrate the right heroes, we celebrate the right narratives, and we make sure conversations like so reach far and wide. I feel NDTV has been doing this for many, many years.
And you've been supporting us through and through.
Absolutely, and I'm going to continue supporting every conversation that happens within the space, because जब जितनी भी बात कर ली उतनी कम है. You know, कुछ साल पहले मुझे याद था, climate change wasn't even front page conversation. It's only happened pre-pandemic, right? Post-pandemic. Today we are speaking about renewable energy, sustainability, how it is every corporate, every industry's responsibility, as it is every citizen's responsibility. So I feel like just making sure that we don't stop talking about it, we support missions like the one unit mission. So
Absolutely.
I think something that I would definitely take away from all the conversation that's happened today, everything that we've spoken about today, that it is our individual responsibility to make sure that I kind of pass on the baton to somebody else and they take this up as a challenge and make sure that this mission is celebrated through and through.
Absolutely. I think it's so important what you rightly said. How do we make it a people's movement? And what you said, I think we should really have a round of applause for Bhumi. You know, time and again, lending a voice. And she didn't, I don't know if you guys heard, but she didn't just say that you're also encouraging, you know, so many other people who have a strong voice. So thank you so much for doing what you do. Deepak, would you like to add anything? I think Bhumi also wanted to ask, you know, we were talking even before the interview, but how do we make this a people's movement?
So I think we want to make it a more people movement. Yeah. But I just want to also come back. We have to make them resourced ready. Because करना कैसे है ना वो समझ नहीं आता. So sometimes we like.
How do we do it? Like why waste time? Yeah.
Now I also want to show another video. You know, since Bhumi was coming, I said we need to do Schneider direction and bring some videos we shot. So this is another video we did. See, we can talk about technology, but technology करेगा कौन जाके गाँव में?
Our skill
this is
development
another
program
video we have
disadvantaged
recorded, which is a reality.
Life-changing skills in just 3 to 4 months.
In COVID time, my father was passed away. Financially, we are poor. I will teach how to work in electrical work. Now on the electrical field work on Schneider Electric, I feel proud and happy.
Our scholarship program empowers talented students with the right support to realize their dreams.
I lost my father 4 years ago. At the same time, my mom diagnosed with breast cancer. This scholarship allowed me to pay the college fees and to continue my dreams.
So it was a short video, but what I was trying to say is we have trained 340,000 youth in these aspirational districts, right? Around 700 vocational centers. When we presented to the Honorable Prime Minister, he said, not enough, do more. And we're committed to do more. So what I'm saying is we need to pass the messages through channel, through like
Voices
Bhumi
like
and the other
Bhumi,
celebs. And then we need to go at the ground level and show people it's possible. And these 330,000 people are already ambassadors of building that energy story. So for me, it's an entire ecosystem. कुछ करते हैं, कुछ तो बदलेगा. That's the whole story. But let's not do it at the talk level. Let's promote, let's create awareness, show successes. I think the success will drive success. And let's touch the lives of people like, the ones who are really engaged. And I think that will also bring a momentum it will just accelerate the momentum.
Well, thank you so much. But we're not going to let Bhumi go so easily. So we just want to know, I think a little more about how you can inspire so many of us, our viewers. I want to ask you, of course, beyond public campaigns, beyond lending your voice for all these important causes, what personal lifestyle changes have you made to reduce your own carbon footprint? And something which has been really tough, because sometimes we do have habits, but what have you really sacrificed?
यार मैं आपको एक ना सबसे बड़ी बात बताती हूँ, that सबसे बड़ी जंग होती है within your own household, आपके घर में, ठीक है? हमेशा जब मैं छोटी क्या, even today, every time I would leave the electricity on or the air conditioner on or the geyser on, I would be called back कि off करो. तब मैं चिढ़ती थी, लेकिन आज मुझे उसकी वैल्यू महसूस होती है, that how important is it? Indian culture has always been sustainable.
Yes.
Okay, and I say this time and again that since we've been westernized, we've gone away from the sustainability angle of it. ठीक है, तो मैं तो लोगों को बोलती हूँ छोटी छोटी बातें करो, जैसे अपने घर में energy बचाओ, पानी बचाओ, put a meter, have an understanding of how much water or how much energy you're consuming. मैंने तो खैर अपने नलकों में भी stoppers लगाए हुए हैं ताकि वो
पानी कम
बहुत सारे लीटर पे लीटर भर भर के मेरे घर पे अब यूज ही नहीं होता. और पहले मुझे बहुत लड़ाइयाँ होती थी घर पे इस बात पे, मुझे धमकियाँ मिलती थी कि सब चले जाएंगे, nobody will help us. But I said, no, this is the way it is. This is my home and they have to agree. And now they are doing it really well. और मैं ना बार-बार उनको समझाती थी. मैंने कहा, see, the water that I'm saving, the energy that I'm saving is going to impact you.
Yes.
Right? Exactly what you said, that it is about sharing. What we save is going to reach out to people that don't have enough of it. When, obviously, I'm an actor, so the lifestyle that we lead is very fashion first. So for me, it is always about recycling, re-wearing, upcycling. मुझे कोई शर्म नहीं आती कि मैं एक outfit 2-3 बार red carpet पे भी पहन लेती हूँ. इनफैक्ट कपड़े हैं जो मैंने अपनी फिल्मों में पहने हैं, मैंने red carpet में भी पहना है, मैंने दोस्त की शादी में भी पहना है. I have no problem. Because the truth of the matter is sustainability is the coolest thing that you can do today, especially for younger kids. And I think something that I am taking away from this conversation is that I do pledge that I motivate more people to take on the 1 unit mission.
And I think what I've taken is what you just said, sustainability is really the coolest thing one can do. The minute you make it cool. Bhumi, the other thing, you've spoken about youngsters. So from that, I just want to ask you, you connect deeply with young audiences. Whether it's your films or even everywhere we've seen how you connect. What do you really think that young Indians can do differently in their everyday life to be a part of this campaign, to be the true Green Yodhas?
I feel to begin with, go on and pledge and become a part of this campaign, because this campaign can truly create huge impact, right? And I just feel that if we take a step back, I'm again saying this, go back to the way a generation before us used to live.
Okay.
Where we used to literally hand down clothes to our younger cousins and it was okay and acceptable. Go back to that living. Where every household had their own little circularity going on, जहाँ पे गीला कचरा, सूखा कचरा अलग-अलग करते थे. एक-एक पैसे की value होती थी, and overconsumption हमें कम करना है.
That's
by the end of it.
Even the Honorable Chief Minister just said the same thing कि कैसे वो भी जाके बत्ती बार-बार बंद करते, switches off.
मुझे तो अब भी डांट पड़ती है. अभी भी अगर मैंने अपना गीजर ऑन छोड़ दिया है और I do something like where I'm unnecessarily air conditioners चल रहे हैं घर के, we are still
we have to be more mindful. We have to make the right choices. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've spoken about responsibility, we've spoken about aspirations, and we've of course spoken about grassroots environments. But before we really close, I'd like to make this real. So if tonight had to translate into action, when we wake up tomorrow morning, Bhumi, the question is to you. What is that one commitment you will make as an individual and as part of the film industry? And I really want to make not just a conversation, but yeah, action.
I think to begin with, I am going to make sure that I have at least 3 of my colleagues or 3 people that hold some influence become a part of this mission. And I really, really hope that whoever is listening to us, all of your viewers, the audience, we from our conversation, the way the day has been, they feel inspired enough to do the same thing. Let's throw it out as a challenge. Let's just challenge the internet. That let's make sure that this becomes a movement, a revolution.
So challenging 3 people or ensuring or, kind of motivating 3 people, creating the the ripple effect, sorry. Deepak, what's that commitment which Schneider Electric as a company will do or will ensure that this conversation which is happening in a closed room doesn't stay as a conversation, but it really becomes a nationwide movement?
Yeah. Before I go to the company, let me talk about me as an individual, as a citizen of the country. What you have to understand, these commitments comes with some discomfort. So ये याद रखना कि ये बातें करनी बड़ी अच्छी हैं, but the moment you adapt this, like this air conditioning, this is now freezing. That means we are overburning the energy just to make ourselves over comfortable, right? अगर मैं थोड़ा सा कम करूँ तो शायद मैं टाई नहीं पहन पाऊँगा. But that's exactly the discomfort. When I go in the morning to office, we have, of course, like most of us, multiple cars. We use one car. उसके लिए क्या करना था? मुझे जल्दी उठना पड़ता है because my son has to go to school. So we pool the car, right? These are small elements of how you do in your basic changes in your life, but it becomes discomfort. क्योंकि मैं 5 मिनट late नहीं हो सकता. या तो फिर मुझे ऑटो में जाना पड़ेगा, or yeah, I have to, or he will be late.
So a little bit discomfort to make a difference,
will come
and caring
when you
for
make
our
these
environment
changes.
is okay.
And it's only a matter of that discomfort will become a normal routine after habit in 10 days, 15 days, a month. Now that was my individual. I think you have to be open for this. That will bring part of discomfort for a few days before it becomes a habit. At a group level, we have already committed. We're going to save over the next 5 years 1,500 billion megawatt unit. That's already in public domain. And that number is already published. This amount of energy is equivalent to powering whole India for 1 year. That's the commitment we are making at group level, which is around the world level. And this will be, of course, reported quarterly or biannually in our global results. So this is what we commit at the group level. But as I said, group is only us, me, and that's what I will do at my level. It's all going to contribute at the group level.
Well, thank you so much for that big commitment. I mean, of course, individually as well, from the group side as well. And thank you so much, Bhumi. Well, sustainability isn't something distant. Like you rightly said, we've been talking. It really begins with each one of us sitting here. So by saving just 1 unit of electricity a day, we can power the 1 unit mission. And as Deepak just shared the numbers, it will create a real impact. So really, ladies and gentlemen, let's really make this happen. Let's pledge 1 unit a day together for a better tomorrow. And the QR code is going to be flashed. So please join the movement. Let's make this a movement for each one of us and leave the world, the planet, a better place for each one of us and our future generations. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Deepak, you wanted to hand over Bhumi a little memento, please.
A round of applause once again, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Deepak Sharma and Bhumi Pednekar. Bhumi, your passion for the planet is truly, truly infectious. And Mr. Sharma, thank you for showing us that technology and sustainability are actually 2 sides of the same coin. A round of applause once again. Sustainability is indeed cool. And Mr. Sharma, let's do it. Really, let us, indeed. But we're not stopping at dialogue, as we've been saying all through this evening. Green Yodha 2.0 is all about action. You have already started by scanning the QR codes and pledging to become a Green Yodha. I invite all of our industry leaders, our dignitaries, our CEOs gathered here, join us at the marketplace at the back of this hall to see the real-world technologies that are making smarter demand a reality today to our distinguished audience. it is your turn, I beg your pardon now, to officially join the movement. Many of you have, of course, scanned the QR code on the tables to register your pledge. We also have a Green Yodha digital kiosk outside. I encourage all of you to head on over, and as Mr. Deepak Sharma exhorted us to just do it and digitize your commitment to a stronger, greener nation, to turn these words into measurable impact. Thank you all so much for being with us here this evening. You've been a great audience. Thank you.